Hello. Hi, hi. Hello. Hello, hi. I'm just gonna go ahead and start. Because I'm just sitting around waiting at this point. So, hi, good morning. I hope everybody's doing good. We're here. Okay, so. When last we left off, we were left with this ugly yellow that wasn't doing what we wanted it to do. So I went to the store and I bought some more yellow paint. I bought for our base coat for the very bottom shadow colors. I bought this sort of dark ochre color called Gizmo Fur, and then I bought a new yellow, which is Dark Sun Yellow. So I already see Lucky came in. So good morning, Lucky. Glad you're here. It was great to hang out with you when you came through the area. So much crap on my desk right now. I really need to clean off my paint again. So we're gonna paint this dark ochre color in as our base coat for our yellow. We're just gonna paint over all this ugly yellow that we already have on here. Ugh. Same. It was fun. Your new puppy is adorable, by the way. An adorable new puppy. I can understand why you would be obsessed with little Belvedere. Yo, Ram, nice to see you. Turn down the music a little bit. I felt like it was too loud. Welcome on in, Ron. Glad you got your 40-minute break. Gonna be our grand attempt at yellow, guys. I wasn't flying over you. I said that you were. I noticed you, senpai. But the green is much more vibrant. So I will see that, that's for sure. You may not have heard me because I was changing the music. I was changing the music on my end because it was a little loud. But you're right, Lucky. All yellows are good yellows. We're just trying to get this one to work. Because, if you look at some of our other ones from last time, yes, Rachel is on YouTube. And we finally got YouTube chat to show up. But yeah, last time we tried to put yellow paint on this one, and it didn't quite cover how we wanted it to. But it's a very old paint, so that's probably why. And also, Games Workshop yellow paint is notorious for not being that great. But YouTube and Twitch chat should be able to see each other on screen now. If we're having trouble seeing the words, then maybe I can add like a little bit of a shadowed background to them. Rom says hello, Lucky. For Rachel. I always call her Lucky. It's what it's what I was introduced to her as, and it's what I continue to call her. There's a little bit of a significant delay between the chat boxes, it looks like, so if you guys want to have a conversation, it's gonna be it's gonna be a little bit of a delay conversation. Aww, that is sad. I'm sorry you have to work. But honestly, I wouldn't be too upset with myself working, but you know. Just because I need to find a job for other reasons. Unless folks want to subscribe to the channel and start, you know, making this more profitable. I wouldn't say no to that. Wink, wink. But also more people would need to watch. You're feeding people with sweets and salami. That sounds wonderful. How's your work day going so far, Rom? Besides feeding people with sweets and salami. Alright, here's the moment of truth. Oh god. Excel tables. Yeah, no. Doing anything on Excel is like ridiculously stupid. Alright, so I mixed in some yellow with this. I'm just testing this first layer of yellow just to see how it goes. That's good. I know you said you have one of them that's telling you whenever I'm live so that you don't miss a stream. Ah, good. We have Lego in the Warhammer miniature shop. Well, I mean, there's a lot of crossover between those two hobbies, I guess. I mean, I can see it. I understand it. I could understand wanting to put together a Lego model and a Warhammer model. I don't think those two things are necessarily mutually exclusive. That sounds really cool. The T-Rex skeleton. I uh I love Jurassic Park. It's my first movie I ever saw in theaters, and that sounds really cool. Just kind of focusing for a minute because I'm trying to figure out how this yellow is going to go on. It seems like it's doing okay, but I don't know. Yellow is just such a weird color to paint with, man. I don't paint with it very often, and it's mostly just because every time I do, I always have issues with it when it comes to coverage. Like this is a fresh bottle of paint, and it still seems like this pigment is just weak, man. But it's much better than it is much better than the old one. That's for sure. It's also much easier to paint yellow onto white, just from a from a base color perspective. I'm looking at like the larger areas here and seeing that definitely gonna have to have multiple coats, but when it dries on there, it looks like it's actually drying yellow and not see-through, so that's positive. Probably need a little bit more of a yellower undercoat next time. We'll fix that for the next one in the Goblin Horde. This is just a test case to try to see if we can get the yellow to work. Well, good. I'm glad. I guess. I'm happy that your colleagues like me too. Okay, that baseline yellow looks good, actually. Now that it's completely dried. It just looks like it took a couple of coats. Probably will need to reapply it back here to the loincloth. But it looks like we're going to need 2 coats of this yellow regardless. But when it dries nicely. And not practically see-through. All right. Hey. Okay. So that's the first 2 layers. We'll layer up some highlights and stuff like that, but I want to get the other 2 yellows done to that same level before I really continue on with the other ones. So this fella doesn't have as much yellow on him. We'll put that dark ochre here. Almost looks like Dijon mustard. Okay. Today we're gonna start layering up a little bit, but I guess I'll start with the yellow just because I kind of already did. And that way also it'll get it out of the way so we don't have to worry about it. Hmm. Okay. I think that's everything. This person. This goblin. Oh, there's a little bit of yellow here I can see peeking through. An ear. Okay. Probably need to get a new sheet of palette paper as well, but I'll do that after I finish the yellow bits. Okay. That's a sort of it's a very I say it's like a Dijon mustard color. And we'll just use the colors that we already have on the palette to pull up the colors on the other models here. Our transitional color between the dark tones and the mid-tones. Neaten up the dark brown on these the guys, but that's okay. We've got to go back over it and layer it anyway, so it will get colored or covered. If I go ahead and do the yellow, then it won't mess with it then. No, I need to keep you awake. Oh no. Well, thank you for telling me that they're beautiful. Yellow's been a color that's always been sort of tricky for me. So this is really a challenge for myself. It's just these 3 yellow models, honestly. And it's not a color that I tend to paint with a whole lot, so I kind of like shy away from it just because I've had like trouble dealing with it in the past. But I've had some success in it with using it for what's the word I'm looking for? Like for fire and stuff, but that's about the extent of my yellow usage in recent history. I also usually zenithal highlight my models, so a little bit of white helps bring out the yellow. And yellow's typically, as you know, a very bright color. So yeah, I don't use it that much, but I'm continuing on with the color scheme that I pre-established for my green skins, and part of that includes yellow, so we will use the yellow. But at any rate, the I can't. I'm having trouble wording because I'm thinking and trying to word at the same time. It's hard, you know, thinking and wording at the same time. But yeah. So I mean, like, I didn't Zenithal highlight these models because there's so many of them. There's literally 20 goblins for me to paint. I could have Zenithal highlighted all of them, sure. But then that would have taken even longer to get this damn thing done, and I've drugged my feet on painting the rest of my monsters for long enough. And this is the biggest group of monsters that I have to finish. Skeletons are next, because they're the second biggest one. Yeah, the wording doesn't word. Yeah, my wording words poorly sometimes. Sometimes I say words and I mean to say other words, but then the other words come out as words that were not meant to be said, or the words get stuck in the wording place and don't word out properly. Just like they did there. If that made any sense. Alright, so that's our first transitional layer, and now we're gonna move on to the midtones, which is gonna be this dark sun yellow is what it's called. I do really like this yellow color. Sort of a goldenrod. Not, like, disgustingly yellow. Not that yellow is disgusting, but it's not like a highlighter yellow. I know Lucky loves all yellows, so I can respect that. But it's a very, like, goldenroddy kind of color. Yeah, there we go. We will need to do multiple coats of this, just because yellow pigment's so thin. And, yeah. So, yeah. Paint artists out there. He lost the context, yeah. Paint artists out there. Yeah, I see the eyeballs. Lucky, you're watching me. The eyes of Lucky are watching. Paint artists out there. Artists who make paints. Like that guy who made the pinkest pink. He's also made a new blackest black. That's not Vanta black. Can you make the yellowest yellow? Give me some screaming yellow pigments. I need those. He might have already made it, for all I know. I think his name is Stuart Simple. Because I was looking it up recently, because somebody mentioned it on a Reddit thread that I was reading. They mentioned Black 4.0, which I was like, what the heck is Black 4.0? And they said it's blacker than Vanta Black and more affordable. Like, oh, okay, well, let's check this out. So I googled it, and it's the same guy who made the pinkest pink, and he made that sort of like in retaliation to the guy who made Vanta Black, because the guy who made Vanta Black bought the artistic rights to it, meaning that he basically, I guess, I don't understand exactly how it works, but my guess is that he owns like the exclusive rights to using Vanta Black or something. I don't know. But this guy made the pinkest pink. And now he's made an even blacker black. Oh no, Rom! Only 4 minutes left. Well, I don't know how much. I don't know if I'll be on after you finish working, but I mean, I'll be on for a little while longer. I've got a lot of work to do on these goblins, so I usually get off around noon my time. Is usually when I stop painting, unless I'm working on something and I'm like just finishing it up. Then I might push the stream a little bit later. But anyway, art guy, make me the yellowest yellow that I don't have to do multiple thin coats of yellow. I'd love that. That would be great for me. I kind of want to paint a mini using the blackest black paint. I want to see what it does. Let's see what it does to minis. I'm just very curious. Okay. I don't know. I might be here in 2 hours. Because I've been going for less than an hour. Usually I go for about 3, but we'll see. We'll see. I may or may not be here. We'll find out. Alrighty. So that's our first coat yellow done. I think we just need to do one more on each of these. Just uno mas layer. Then we're probably going to swap out our palette paper. Move into layering mode. We'll do the accent color layers, because that'll be the most like diverse thing that we can paint up, and then we can move on to the regular brown layers and stuff like that after we get our accent colors done, just because that'll be a lot of sameness, and also it'll give us an opportunity to cover up any like potential spillover, like we have on this guy, like his browns on his shoulder pads. Got a little bit of yellow on it. Bye. So, I have a sort of tentative stream schedule that I'm going to try to stick to from here on out. I think I'm going to do morning paint streams on Mondays and Tuesdays, definitely. If I do any extra ones, they would just be kind of impromptu, not on the schedule. But Mondays and Tuesdays, unless I have an appointment in the morning or something, then I want to do morning paint streams. That means I will need to paint some stuff off stream in order to meet my painting goals. But I think that Mondays and Tuesdays in the morning I can commit to. And then Wednesday night, I'm going to start doing my retro game stream again. I used to stream retro RPGs and stuff like that forever ago. I want to do it again because there's a bunch of old games that I want to play, and I need a good excuse to play them. And a Wednesday night retro game streams are a good excuse. Thursday nights, me and the boys stream, Travis and Alec. We've been pretty consistently doing that for the past few weeks, so we'd like to continue that, if at all possible. And then Fridays right now we're gonna be open. They're gonna be open days because there's potential for a D&D stream on those days, but nothing set in stone and no times completely set in stone either. Okay. So we've got our yellow. We got our first 2 layers of yellow. We'll do the next couple of layers of yellow, but I'm running out of room on my painting, my palette paper. So we're going to put down a new one. Be right back. And I'm back. Alright. Palette paper. There was a box in the way. Alrighty, so we'll continue on with the yellow just because we've already done the first color layer on there. So with this first layer of highlights, we're going to be mixing Dark Sun Yellow with Ice Yellow. And this is going to be our first highlight layer. Ooh, big old blob of yellow there. Did not mean for it to be that big. There must have been a little clog in the tube. Try not to use too much paint because you end up not using all of it. And you end up wasting it. So that is generally a bad thing because paint's expensive, especially miniature paints. A little bit more of the ice yellow there. Actually, want to create a brighter yellow. There we go. You guys can't see my palette, but I'm pleased with it. Alrighty. We're just adding some highlights here. We don't want to flood the model with this color. We do, however, want to hit all the spots where our light source would hit. And this one I always start with because it's got the most surface area for this accent color that I would need to do, so go ahead and knock it out first. The Lady Goblin is almost got as much, but her features are a lot smaller. So she's not as good of a test case for these colors. But when you've got, like, this guy here who's got this big jacket on with all these, like, big flat areas, and this is where the accent color goes, he's perfect for this sort of thing. And also I like his pose, so... And then this one right here, I'm gonna add a bit of a highlight to it. It wouldn't necessarily be too bright because he's hunched over it, but this is just to differentiate it a little bit more. So we probably won't put our brightest color down there, but we might do like this color here down there or whatever. Alright, so that's our first layer of colors. Our first layer of highlights, rather. And now we'll add more ice yellow to our previous color. This will be our brightest highlight. And I want to make sure I keep the previous color, because I want to use it again. At least having it there for reference will be nice. So this is only going to go in the topmost folds. And this is almost pure ice yellow. few down here on the rear loincloth, if you will. Alright, I think that's all we need for that highlight color. Because we don't want too much of it on there because we don't want to make it too bright. It's not like a bright. It's not supposed to be a bright yellow, but yellow enough. I think that yellow came out pretty nice. So now we'll finish up the yellow on the other two. So this fella probably won't have too many highlights on here, but he is sort of standing up straight, so he'll have more on his like little loincloth or whatever. I just completely got rid of that, but you know, that's okay. We'll just work around it. Right. Here. Shoulder pad. The top. Definitely on the back here. Right. And then our brightest highlight of yellow. Very little of this. Edges and at the very top of this little fold here, probably. And then we won't put any on the front panel, but we might put a little bit up here at the top of his armor, because that's where the sun's hitting it. And up here towards like his booty. There on the back. And that's all the highlights done on him. And then she will have obviously more highlights because there's more surface area on her. Alright. Obviously here on her chest. And we'll get a little bit here on this front part of her dress. Upper highlights of this part of the dress, the side flares. On her back. Same thing with the dress. And with the dress back here, we'll hit all the top folds. We won't go too far down. We won't go too crazy with this color. Her hat has a little bit more, like, where the light source would be hitting it, so we're going to... Right? So that's our first highlight color, and then we'll go on to our last one. I had to mix a little bit more because I was running out on my palette. All right, and then this will be up here. Barely on her dress. In the front, back here. Top of her back. Just up in the highest parts of the folds here. We'll add a little bit here on the back of the head, but not too much, just because there would be some light hitting that if it's hitting her back. And then with her hat up here, mostly be the parts where the top of her head hits. There we go. So I believe that is the yellow done on all of my goblins. So we don't have to touch yellow again. Alright, let's do the blue next. Alright, so we have already our lowest, our shade color, which is the... Where are you? I need you. Here, which is a cold corpse blue. That is our darkest color. That's our shadow color. So we're going to be using some of that. We're going to be mixing it with our mid-tone, which is going to be one of my favorite colors, which is... You guys have got to move. Sorry. It's just me being unorganized. I need to get a desk organizer or something going on here, but I'm hitting stuff with my arm, which is no good. Our mid-tone color, which is going to be marine blue. Okay, so we're mixing those two colors together to form our first transitional sort of color. I always forget, I need to rinse off my brush before I start applying the mixed color, because you want to make sure you only have the mixed color in your brush. Otherwise, you stand a risk of having just like one color in the bristles. And it won't come out as the color that you want. And I'm not too worried about this combo because I paint blue all the time. Your Chocobo used to be that color? I'm just now seeing your messages, Lucky, so you'll have to forgive me. So your Chocobo used to be blue? Oh yeah. 90% of this model is going to be covered with this color because we're going to put this is the transition color between this one and our midtone, which is going to be the majority of the model. I'm not really worried about blue because I paint tons of blue and I have used this before, so. Okay. That's all that. Now then, we'll do it on this guy next. Alright. That's all the blue that's on that guy. Now we have more models with blue on them, so this will be a little bit longer. Because we only got 3 with yellow on them. We have multiple ones with blue on them. Oh, specifically corpse blue. Oh, okay, yeah, it's a really dark blue. I really like the way it looks and the way that it kind of colors everything. I'm gonna do my best to pay more attention to chat, guys. But I have to turn my head. So literally what I tend to do is I tend to finish painting a part of it, then turn my head, see chat, and then catch up with chat. So you'll have to forgive me. Okay, that's stabby lady done. Now we got boomerang guy. Thank you for forgiving me, Lucky. I just want to be a good streamer. I just want everybody to like me. I want everybody to think I'm cool, okay? I'm not actually crying. I'm being really dramatic. This is the one of the wild ones. I should have mentioned who I'm painting. They've got the blue, I did them red and blue on their little, loincloth thingies. And lastly, we have, our bomber gals. I think they're gals. But who can tell, honestly? They're goblins. And anyway, I don't want to go assuming they're goblin gender. Alrighty. Next up, just straight up marine blue for our midtones. I love this color. I like blue for some reason. I don't know if you guys know that about me. It's looking alright. That's it. We're just doing the same thing on all these models, which is covering 90% of the model. We're just leaving the shaded, the shade colors in the deepest parts of the model, or the deepest recesses. If I didn't explain what I'm doing. These are the mid-tones, so this is the color that we want most of the model to be. I call them models. I didn't assemble them. These are minis. Back of the hat here. Okay. We got our mid-tones on her. Righty. That's Boomerang Guy. Next up is our wild one. She's got very little of this on her. Okay. Lastly, we have our Bomber Gal. Okay. There we go. Alright, now we have to add our first highlight color, which is we are going to mix our marine blue with Fenrisian gray, which is a very cool blue, a very bright one. It says it's gray, it's actually blue. By every stretch of the imagination, it is blue. So if you look at it on my paintbrush there, that's blue. Okay. So that's our first highlight color. Starting with the same guy we always start with. Again, rinse off your brush before you add your mixed colors. So you're only adding mixed colors to the book, to the mini. The highlights on this one will be a little bit more noticeable in the yellow, just because the nature of the color. But it seems like we're using a lot. That's just because this is the very top of the head. This is where a lot of the light's gonna hit from our imaginary light source. So that's where most of the highlights are gonna be. Up at the top of the head. a little bit down here. I don't go too crazy in the front because this guy's pose, he's kind of stooped over, so don't necessarily have a whole lot of highlights here, but you do need some just for differentiation's sake, so that all of it doesn't look the same, like one color. All right, that's our first highlight done. This fella's definitely not going to have as many highlights. Decided to mix some more paint. Okay. Okay. This, just like with our yellow, the highlights are going to be up here towards the top of this armor pad on his arm here. Not too much of it because, I mean, still want it to be blue. We want it to be our mid-tone color of blue. Okay. That's all for him. So we have Stabby Lady. Okay, I think that's it for her. Next up is Boomerang Guy, of course. Morning, Alec. I don't know how I feel about being the Goblinomancer, but you know what? I'll take it. I've been called worse things, I think. I do like goblins, though. Gonna be honest with you. I have an affinity for all greenskins, despite the fact that in my heart of heart, I am a dwarf. But I have been painting a lot of goblins recently. Been painting a lot of goblins recently. But by that logic, next I will be the necromancer because I am painting skeletons next. Followed by zombies, then mummies. So there will be a lot of undead in the future. Make some more paint. Starting low. How are you this morning, Alec? You working? I mean, I assume you're working, but are you in the office or are you at home? Had a small run. What does that mean? What is a small run? Okay. That's our first highlight done. Now we have our last highlight of the blue. Mixing more Fenrisian gray with our previous mixture. Create an even lighter blue. Whoop. Alrighty. And we're just gonna use this highlight sparingly. We're not gonna go too crazy with this color because I don't want my highlights to get too bright. I won't put any down here. Yep, that's the highlights on him done. And then we'll do this fella. Then for this highlight, this brightest of highlights will just be very top of his little armor panel here. Along his booty. Okay. That's all the brightest highlights on him. What is that? What does a quick run mean, though, Alec? What does that mean? I don't understand. Like you had to go somewhere, or you went running for exercise? What does that mean? I'm confused. Not that there's anything wrong with either one of those things. I used to run for exercise. I should probably start again. Starting to get fat. I don't want to be fat. I just like food too much, man. That's the problem. I just like eating food, like making food. It's like food. That's the problem. The fact that all my hobbies are sedentary doesn't help. Alright, that's all the highlights on her. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I mean, I love food. That's the problem. And I want to eat more of it. So I know Lucky says hi on YouTube, Alec. I don't know if you saw it or not. doing 5-minute runs through the week. That 5-minute runs are I mean, that's good. Little bursts of exercise is probably a good way to start. I need to start running again. I really do. I need to start exercising again. It's just been so freaking hot that the thought of going outside and doing anything strenuous has made me feel like death. I mean, I get exhausted just cutting the damn lawn. So, running has been the farthest thing from my mind. But that being said, this morning it was really nice. It's only in like the 60s this morning, which is really nice. So, didn't feel too miserable. Alright, so that's it for the wild one. And this will be the last blue that we need to do, and then we can move on to red. The last one will be brown, and that will transition us into doing the brown on all of them. The brush is getting dry. Okay. I hope it stays that way until Friday, too. That is my supreme hope. Okay. So, now it's time for red. Eh. So, the color we started with the red was this Berserker red. And we are going to mix it with our midtone, which is going to be Sanguine Scarlet. This will create our transitional color. I really like this red as well. Alright. This is our transitional color. We're coloring 90% of the model with this color. Just trying to get myself comfortable. Trying not to become a shrimp person. Keep my posture. Just his little back loincloth area thing. Okay. That's one. Now into number two. So glad I'm knocking these goblins out, honestly. They are the smallest models that I have left, or minis that I have left in HeroQuest to paint. I feel like they're also the most detailed. These guys have all these little doodads and gewgaws on them. They're all so tiny, and all their little features are small, so it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what's going on with them, because everything is shrunk down so much. But I am enjoying painting them, actually. So that's a positive. I hope that the internet at large is enjoying watching me paint them. My brush are drying out a little bit. Right. This one needs a name. Which one? Do you need the stabby lady needs a name? And I all have informal names. This is Boomerang Guy. That was Stabby Lady. The last one. And then the one with the knife and the loincloth. That's just Loincloth Guy. Boomerang Guy is done. Next up is the other one of our wild ones. JT? This is Bomber Gal. Alrighty. Oh. Okay. Oh. My coffee is cold. I'm gonna go get some hot coffee. I'll be right back. Back. I just had to, I had to heat up my coffee because my coffee pot went off, so I had to pop it in the microwave. All right, midtones, red guys. Just using straight up sanguine scarlet for the midturns on these guys. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I really like this red. This guy in particular, with his hat and everything, reminds me of the red caps in Baldur's Gate 3. Alrighty. I believe that's it for the midtones on him. Yeah, looks good to me. Maybe more here. The old paint color showing through there. Yeah, looks good to me. Next up, we got old Krinko here. Kind of, I don't know, he kind of looks like Krinko. That's a Magic the Gathering reference. For those who don't get it, if you know, you know. That's it for the midtones on him. Doesn't have a lot of red on him because he doesn't have a lot of clothing items that I wanted to paint red. Our stabby lady. I'm glad my Magic the Gathering references are always acceptable, Alec. Always liked Krinko. I used to have a Krinko deck. I don't know. I think I must have sold it. Or sold parts of it. It was a mono red Goblin deck. And I liked playing mono red Goblins quite a lot. But I think I sold it. Because I got to a point where I was like, I'm not playing Magic the Gathering. All these cards are just taking up space in my in my study or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'll just sell everything that's of value and then move on in my life. So that's what I did. Hi, Irish. Willkommen. But then I got back into Magic the Gathering, and I wish that I hadn't sold all that. That's how it always goes. Should have known better. Always come back to Magic the Gathering. Think you're out, and it just pulls you back in. My doorbell. I'll be right back. I'm back. Oh. It was a package. I had to sign for it. I know what it is. I have to go and check the rest of my mail here in a second, but I had paint on my brush and I didn't want it to dry. I ordered a new phone, so that's the box that was at the door was the box to trade in my old phone, and I had to pick it up there. To answer your question, Irish, did the new yellow work out better? It did. It did. I will show you in just a second. Finish the red on this guy, and then I'll show you how it worked out. Actually, while I got paint on my brush, let me go ahead and this one too. There's not as much red on this one, so we'll just. Okay. One more red one, but that one's got a little bit more on there. So I will show you, Irish, how the yellow worked out. So this is with all the highlighting and everything like that, but it worked out much, much better, as you can see, after some experimenting. We got a pretty decent yellow on there. We picked up two things. We picked up this, which is dark sun yellow, and we also have gizmo fur, which is kind of like a dark ochre. And those two things together came together to make the nice little yellow goblins that you saw there. Bomber gal here. Okay. So that's all the red midtones. Now we'll move on to our first highlight. And we are going to mix our Sanguine Scarlet with a brighter color. I just need to figure out what brighter color I want to use. Several to choose from. Yeah, I thought it worked out pretty nicely too. Alright, and then this is the color I think we're going to use to mix with. If it works, I think it's a little... Just looking at it on the inside here, I think it might be a little too... That is just solid. That is just a solid block of paint in there. Okay. I'll use pink. Looking for another paint color. No, most of this old paint is solidified. Yeah. I gotta go through all my old paints and just throw out the ones that are just one block of color. Some of them are just straight up unusable now. I have a second pot of Wild Rider Red here. Let's see how it looks. Yep. These are all just solid. Yep. Okay. These are the times where we improvise. I will try mixing my Ice Yellow with my Sanguine Scarlet and see what happens with that. If it's too orangey, then we'll have to think of something else. It's actually not that orangey at all. Kind of pink. A little bit more. We don't want it too bright. Oh, that's about right. Oh, what was I worried about? All we ever needed was Ice Yellow. That's all we ever need. Highlight color. We're not gonna go too crazy with it. Folds here. Okay. That's our first layer of highlights done. Thank you. Yes, I'm loving the red too. The red is really cool looking. Hang on, I need to check something on my phone. Okay. This takes forever. I don't know why. Shouldn't. Alright, I need to go check my mailbox. I'll be right back. So, I just had a fun thing happen that I just realized. So I ordered a new phone, and it's supposed to arrive today, which it did. But here's the kicker. I got the box, I opened it, and there is an envelope for me to trade in my old phone. Because I'm trading in my old phone. But there's no new box in the phone, no new phone in the box. It's on the invoice. I thought maybe it was delivered separately, so I went to go check my mailbox. It was not. They just sent me the box with no phone. So there's no phone in the box. So I have to call them and raise hell in just a few minutes. Exactly. What? Exactly. There's no new phone in the box. It's on the invoice. They just sent me the envelope to trade it in. No phone. I don't know how it happens. My only guess could be incompetence. Because, let me tell you, that's pretty incompetent. Yeah, the best we can do is cardboard. Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy. But I mean, like, there's no point in me getting, like, super upset or anything. Because, I mean, like, I got changed anything. I just gotta annoy them and be like, you know, hey, you gotta send me a phone. If they don't, if they say they're not going to, then we have a problem. Because I paid for it, so they need to, they can't expect me to pay for something and then not receive it. So, after I finish these red guys, I might hop off stream and go argue with customer service. Which isn't ideal, but you know. Yeah, when the guy handed me the box, I thought, well, this feels kind of light for there to be a new phone in it. And then I opened it, and there was just the envelope for me to trade in my old phone. I was like, well, maybe that's all this is. Maybe he put the other one in the mailbox and or whatever. And, you know, so I went out to go check it, and there's nothing in my mailbox, so. But that is just my luck, honestly. Because I was excited about getting my new phone today, because I've literally had the same, yeah, I'm still here, Rom. I've literally had the same phone for 6 years. So I was excited to get a new one. And, it's not there, so. You got hit so hard in Skyrim it crashed? How does that happen, Alec? Yeah, Rom, to catch you up, I got a package in the mail while I was on stream. I went to go get it, and I knew what it was. I'm supposed to get a new phone today. And I go to open the box, and it feels kind of light to be a new phone. I go and look in the box, and there's no phone in the box. Just just an envelope for me to trade in my old one. Yeah. Fun times here in the Wizard's Keep. I am quite possibly the unluckiest human alive, I think. Yep, empty boxed. No box. Or it's just a box. No phone. Just a box. The only thing that will make this not an unlucky occurrence. I'm glad you finished with work. The only thing that will make this not an unlucky occurrence is if, when I complain to them, they give me something. One more highlight on these red goblins. We're gonna call the stream for now. Okay. One last final highlight. Very sparingly. I want these guys to turn pink. They're not pink. They're red. Okay. More of these goblins turn more pink than red, just because of what I. Oh no! That sucks, Rom. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well, it's supposed to be red, not pink or raspberry red. So it did not come out to be the color that I wanted it to be. It looks too pink. So that's a failure. But that's okay. I can redden it up with some contrast paint or something later on. Or a glaze or something. Alrighty, so that's gonna be it for the stream today. I'm glad you guys think they still look good. I got yellow, I got blue, I got red done, or pink. And we'll move on to the browns next time, and we'll be almost finished. So fingers crossed they get done. We're done soon. So yeah, but I think we're making some good progress. That's okay. Well, here's blue if you want to see it. It's blue. The blue ones came out really nice. I think that the blue and the yellow look very nice. The red came out a little too pink for my liking. But particularly on this one. I don't know what happened to her, but I guess she just pinkified it. But it looks a little too pink for me. I should probably have used a brighter orange for my mix-in color instead of yellow. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go eat some lunch, and I'm going to go argue with some customer support people. And try to figure out what's going on with this phone situation. So, but thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I got a little bit of a schedule going that we'll figure out if we can stick to it. So Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to try to continue doing the Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to try to continue doing Monday mornings, Tuesday mornings. I'm going to try to do painting streams in the morning, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights are when I'll stream gaming and stuff like that. Tomorrow the stream will be later. I have me and my wife have a doctor's appointment in the morning. It's her appointment. I'm going with her. So I will be late tomorrow. If it gets to be too late, I'll post an announcement on the Discord or something, and folks can follow along there if they don't know. If you know, you know. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.